So this is session 15 of Night's Slow Agents. So this is the aftermath of the assault on Dolphin Court. So after some degree of planning, he says politely, PCs made their way to Dolphin Court, and the corner building, getting into the room after a degree of investigatory and some what's the word I'm looking for? Some observations of what was going on, surveillance. The room itself was covered in moss and stuff, and there was a hole in the center of the floor. You went down to the hole in a weirdly parallel tunnel to the one in Israel. You found your missing compatriots and Lucy Westron. Lucy kills Rodney without a thought, but just kills him, and you manage to off her before she kills Standish, thus releasing your team. Can't remember whether you had returned up or we just left it there. So we'll retcon it back a little bit. So you are in the room with a dead Rodney, a dead Lucy, whatever her name is, and Standish and Jackson Lamb. Lucy had told you that Dracula, her lover, boss, whatever you want to call it, had gone off and was going to the Urals.
Yes.
And then you killed her. So
Lucy, did you say?
Lucy Westerner. Lucy Westerner. From the original Dracula book. Mm-hmm. She was in charge of the cult of Dracula in London.
Western Ra.
Yeah, Western Ra.
Yep.
So, after she dies, you release everyone, and there's a kind of a joint moment of relief. Only Roddy died, and even that, most of you have completely forgotten he's died, because nobody really liked Roddy.
It was useful.
Very useful to get you in places with his computer experience and able to, transfer funds, buy you plane tickets and stuff, order you an Uber, all stuff you could actually do yourself, but having a trained internet monkey always quite useful. However, as you begin to start making your way back up to the entrance of the room through the tunnel, you start to leave the main room where you're standing. There's a destroyed vampire on the floor, or what's left of a destroyed vampire. Rodney's body, which you kind of decided to leave there, because otherwise you would explain a severed head Rodney. You start to walk back, and you get into an antechamber just before the entrance to the flat, and Standish begins to shake and starts frothing at the mouth, and then she starts to speak. and she's kind of shaking, not horrendously violent, but quite aggressive. And then she starts to speak in a low Eastern European accent. It says, I won't do the accent because I've got a bit of a cold. Greetings. My name is Dracul. You've become a bane, proving yourselves against some of the masters of this land. However, a darker threat is coming in a place you called the Ural Mountains. The cursed Cossacks are about to bring forth an ancient evil. I will be there, stopping the evil. If you're worthy, follow. And then Standish's neck shoots to one side, cracks, and she collapses to the floor dead.
Oh, what?
What the F was that?
He's definitely dead.
Oh.
Yep, snapped.
Jeepers.
Wow. Well, that could have been any one of us.
Jackson says something like, "Fuck me, one out of 3. That's a shit rescue mission. Call yourself heroes."
Hey, thanks, boss.
Steve.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, guys.
There you
Sorry,
go.
I'm just trying to get my headphones working. Don't let me interrupt you. Just carry on.
That's okay. So, her body collapses to the ground. Jackson says something pithy, and you'll find yourself standing around another dead slow horse.
Well, that was unexpected. I guess we're going to the Ural Mountains.
Not just yet, we're bloody not. I want a drink.
That's
Sorry,
a fine
who's
idea.
dead?
So so we rolled it back a small bit. You're walking out of the corridor from the tunnels.
Yeah.
Just before you get to the bit where you climb up into the main flat, Standish starts shaking, frothing at the mouth, and she speaks in a low Eastern European accent, and effectively says, "Greetings, my name is Dracul. You've become a bane, proving yourselves against some of the masters of this land. A dark threat is coming, a place you call the Ural Mountains. The cursed Cossacks are about to bring forth an ancient evil. I will be there stopping the evil. If you're worthy, follow." Neck cracks and she collapses to the floor dead.
Oops.
So the first thing that kind of jumps out to you is Lucy kind of told you similar, and you killed her, and then Standish. So it's almost as if Lucy wasn't supposed to die, or it's almost as if you're only supposed to have this information once, but you got it from 2 different sources at the same time. If that makes sense, so it's a bit odd. Like it was like Standish's was pre-programmed. So you suspect that Dracul doesn't know that.
Lucy's dead.
Yeah.
Yes. So you've just got Jackson with you, and another dead slow horse.
So just to paint the scene for me. So where are we at the moment?
You're still
In the tunnel.
Yeah.
So we were in the apartment last time. right?
Yeah, you were downstairs in the tunnels.
Yeah.
Rodney had his throat slit, head cut off, and she went over to Standish. That was Lucy. You managed to dispatch Lucy, but she did let you know that Dracula was going off to the Urals.
Okay.
And then, obviously, on your way out, almost like a pre-programmed or almost like a pre-programmed summoning, whatever. Standish told you about Dracula going to the Ural Mountains.
Okay. So I take it that's where we have to go then. Although, I guess do we carry on exploring where we are?
All you found was tunnel.
Yeah.
And you managed to escape. You managed to.
So the tunnel was just like an escape route or something from the.
Yeah, it was identical to the tunnels that Kim Philby's dad was living in,
Right.
was in, albeit without the river, almost identical, almost deliberately, and then but without the exit routes. There's no exit routes, but that was her lair.
Got it.
The cult of Dracula.
Well,
I'm with Louisa. I think I need a drink.
yes. I think that's a fantastic idea.
So
Yeah, let's get out of here.
I think we're well overdue a drink, aren't we?
You're going a week-long bender.
I'm surprised this hasn't driven all of us to drink.
Completely forgetting where you're going. But yeah, so you leave the flat, lock it up.
We do have a bit of a problem here, don't we? Because we don't have Roddy to call on anymore. Obviously, our digital footprint, i.e., CCTV, etc., is more likely to be a problem, right? Because in the past, we would have got Roddy just to go and, if we went in somewhere public or whatever, we would get him presumably to wipe the footage. But obviously, we can't do that now. So,
but I think there's one or two of you that got digital intrusion.
I'm sure he's the master, though, isn't he?
Yeah,
To be fair, I've got. I mean, even Struan's got some digital intrusion, so I guess that's fair.
I mean, it is just a matter of walking down to the server room
Yeah.
and smashing the living shit out of the servers.
Yeah, fair play.
Because the tapes would be removed at night. So at the moment you're there, and because 24 hours haven't gone past, the imagery of you on the tapes isn't backed up. If that makes sense. You back it up overnight.
I think we should probably do that, shouldn't we? Just in case. I don't know if we're getting to the point now where leaving a digital footprint is such an issue, because if we're dealing with the big D himself, I don't know how switched on he's going to be. So I don't know whether, but it's probably still good practice just to, and especially because there's dead bodies lying about.
Yeah. So at some point, when the authorities get into this room, they will go down into they'll discover that it's a bit messed up inside. There's a cave and a big tunnel underneath. They won't find a vampire because she blew up.
Yeah.
But there'll be ichor everywhere, and there'll be a headless corpse and a woman with a broken neck, both of which can be tied to MI5. So your options are really get rid of the footage, get some body bags, maybe steal an ambulance, come back as ambulance drivers, and get the bodies out just to get rid of them.
Or do we burn them? I mean, I wouldn't really have a problem with setting the whole damn thing on fire, to be honest. But
it's a brick building.
Well, that's right. The fire would be contained, wouldn't it? But it could. I mean, what do you chaps think? I mean, let's face it. I mean, realistically, I guess we would probably want to retrieve the bodies of our own anyway. because it would seem to be the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends how much of a hurry we're in, I suppose, doesn't it? If we're not in a hurry, we could probably, as you say, go and arrange to have get the bodies removed, and do it, kind of deal with it ourselves, or we could just, burn the evidence. But I don't know what's the best. It doesn't seem right, maybe, to burn those bodies, considering they were our colleagues, even though Roddy was a dick, But
Yep.
Let's go for a drink. We'll take some.
yeah, that's a good idea. Let's go back to that plan, and we can worry about it later, can't we?
It's so much easier handling bodies when drunk.
Yeah, quite right.
We're going to need ladders. I don't know, those one-piece
Body bag.
overalls for CSI scenes and all that.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll do it at the pub.
Okay. So just around the
That
corner,
sounds like the most sensible idea we've had all week.
So around the corner there was a pub. Shall we call it the King's Head? Shall we call it King's Head? I was going to go Winchester, but King's Head possibly. You start drinking, and if everyone makes stamina rolls.
Yeah, the problem is Struan's not very good at. He's not really a drinker.
No, so the stamina rolls. If you need to get 4 or more, otherwise, the stress is a bit much, and you continue drinking.
What is where is stamina again? It's not stamina, is it? It's not health, you mean?
Health, yes, stamina, health system. Everyone makes health rolls. Constitution. Where's the?
No, because under general you've got you have a health stat. There is a stability, but that's more like your sanity, isn't it?
Yep. Christmas. Let's go.
Sorry, guys, I'm not going to add anything to this. I think Louisa needs a stiff drink.
Mm-hmm.
Indy fails.
Yep. So you keep drinking. Yep.
Hey.
Right. Sorry. What do we have to roll? Is it? Did you say 4 or more?
Yeah, 4 or more.
Okay, give me a sec. I'm just signing into Roll20 now.
This viewer and Struan rolls a 6. I've just been on coke all night.
I've got a 5.
So, Struan stays sober, but Mim and Louisa are quite drunk when it comes to the point of the evening where you decide to go back and fix the bodies.
Well, in that case, I better drive then.
So,
Where can we get silver bullets?
no,
Is there such a thing?
Yes, didn't you have silver bullets?
I think we did have silver bullets. Yeah,
you did. You had shotgun.
We had the shotguns, didn't we? With
shotguns.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, some with garlic.
Yeah, garlic and yeah. So, you're a bit off cut. Struan's sober. You get back into. So, what is your plan on how to get rid of the bodies? Talk me through what your preparation is.
So, I think we should probably steal a nondescript van of some sort.
Yeah.
I.e., typical white van. Then, obviously, go retrieve the bodies. Presumably under cover of darkness. wait till it's very late. Does the block have any sort of maintenance or sort of goods delivery, or
Yes.
So
yes,
presumably we would use that if possible. Again, everything we can do to avoid being spotted. And again, remove any footage once we've got the bodies wrapped up and in the back of the van.
Okay, so Struan, if you've got filch,
Yes, I've
make a
got filch of
filch.
3.
Okay, so you're stealing a van. I reckon it's going to be a 3.
Okay, so I'm going to add 1 to that. I've got myself from my 3. So hang on a minute. Of course, I forgot you can do that with this advanced roll. I can't. Just give me a sec. I have to do 1d6 plus 1. Oh, cool. There you go. Easy peasy.
The car's open and the keys are on the.
They're under
sun
the sun visor. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a full tank of gas, and by sheer chance, it's a painter's.
Painter and decorator's van. So we've got some lovely
lots of
dust
sheets.
sheets in the back.
Yep.
Perfect.
Ladders.
He's got some ladders. Everything you need. So to mitigate this, so you managed to get back into the Dolphin house. You squeeze the bodies out, and really a bit like an old Ealing comedy, as you're tiptoeing through the halls with bodies wrapped up. Every now and then, an arm flops out, but you get the bodies into the van. You erase the tapes, and you drive off. But you're now driving a stolen van with 2 dead bodies in the back. Where are you going to put? Where are you going to?
Well, so first thing is Struan will drive because he's the sober one.
Yep.
And he's also going to drive very cautiously. So no speeding, just nice and easy. Now, good point. Where do we? I mean, do we just take them back to Slough House for now? I don't know. Is it safer to do that, or is it safer to take them somewhere and dispose of them? But it doesn't seem right, really. So I wonder if we take them back to Slough House for now. What do you chaps think?
Oh, I don't suppose anybody from I5 is going to go there anytime soon.
And we did encounter something there since we got back, didn't we? So
That is true.
That's which we cleared out, right? So, so that should be safe.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's probably the safest. At least it's our place, so it should be relatively safe. And again, it's not ideal, but maybe it's the best thing to do for the short term until we figure out what to do with them. But
Yep. So you make it back to Slough House, load up the bodies, take them up so they can't. So if they do start rotting, they won't smell, and then you dump the van somewhere and come back.
Exactly.
So
this will take the best part of the night, basically, to do all of this.
Somewhere near 2:00 in the morning, you find yourselves in Slough House, staring at 2 bodies that have been gaff taped up and wrapped in plastic cellophane.
I mean, I guess we could. Yeah, we're gonna have to. We'll just because I mean, I don't know obviously the Slough House. You don't see everything about it, but I guess there must be a storeroom or something we can put them in just for now, at least.
Is there? Maybe there's maybe there's a crematorium we could use in the middle of the night.
There isn't a crematorium, but what there is a an autopsy, a mortician that you had dealings with as a contact. Some time ago, you had a mortician that was dealing with the bodies that came out of your first encounter with a vampire.
Okay.
So if you've got contacts, anyone wants it, you can use contact Streetwise. I think we'll go tradecraft.
What's network?
Network, that's it. Yeah, so network is that's the thing. So it's like if you use network, you can contact this mortician, and who, because they are aware of MI5 and whatnot, you can put the bodies on ice in the mortuary under Jane and John Doe's.
Perfect.
But for that, you need to roll a 4.
Yeah. Well, for some reason, I've got very high network.
Yep.
So I'm happy to spend 3 points to ensure we get that.
Cool.
So.
Oh gosh, yeah, 15. I suppose that's because of spying.
I'll let you chaps handle that then.
Oh, it's good.
So,
put the
one phone call, and the mortician says, "Yeah, come around, and usual rules apply. I'll put them on ice, and we can deal with the paperwork later."
Great stuff.
Perfect.
So by mid morning the following day, the bodies are in a lab in somewhere in London, being held under Jane Doe and Jane and John Doe. Jane and John Doe.
Yeah.
And that's the way they'll be held until they're told otherwise. So time has moved on. What is your plan?
Sober up.
So Jackson's decided he's going to go home. You sort the shit out. he almost begrudgingly says thank you for not killing him. And he wanders up. He wanders off. He's surplus to requirements at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you remember about the Ural Mountains?
Well, that Dracula's going there. And
I'm going to say about as much as you've just told us tonight, to be honest.
So,
we
early
had
on
some
in the campaign,
information about something to do with the Urals, but I'd have to go over the paperwork again.
so you were down in Sussex by the coast, and you went to a safe house to interrogate a particular chap who had stolen a NATO officer's briefcase, and he told you about. So he was in the Ukraine, in Odessa, and his handler was in the Crimea. He was picked up in Moldova, I believe, but he talked about being at the airfield where a rather large aircraft that was rumored to have been blown up wasn't blown up, but a helicopter. I've got it written down, the particulars of this. So he saw the MIL V-12 airlift the snow cruiser from the Anatolov airport heading to Russia. So this is the giant twin propeller
it's
heavy
the big
lift
Russian cargo plane, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But the snow cruiser, I think there was photographs of it. It was dug out of. It's an American vehicle with gigantic big wheels that they designed to go on the snow, and it was shit. It sunk in the snow, didn't go anywhere. But they dug it out of the ice pack and flew it to Crimea, and then that went on to Russia. You later heard about it going to the Ural Mountains, in a place called Perchorsk, Perchorsk. That's where Dracula said he's heading to the Ural Mountains. I think that was the only other thing you had. I don't think there was anything else.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yep. I just.
So somebody's
just trying to think, how does this snowmobile thing and the Antonov aircraft fit in with what's its relevance to this the
Well, I mean, the
strange
Antonov.
vampire that we
Does it mean he's moving something? Because
Wait,
it's
the
a
Antonov.
big transport aircraft, isn't it? So it's not
Yeah.
for passengers. It's designed to move something big.
And
Like the
so they flew in. So the helicopter flew in the snowmobile. The snowmobile was loaded into the aircraft, and the aircraft flew off.
Right.
It was the aircraft that flew the snowmobile to.
Maybe the
Your map.
snowmobiles needed to shift or carry something or get to somewhere. But we're talking now about Dracula telling us there's some great, awful evil on its way. So
yes.
it sounds like it's all part of some kind of rescue package.
Something that Dracula fears he's going to stop. Is the gist
What
of
does
what you're
Dracula
getting.
fear then?
Well,
Indeed.
you know that there were
Apart from garlic baguettes, obviously.
so you know there were a number of different strains of vampires on Earth.
That's right. So there was was it the ancient? So there was the Dracula strain, right?
So the Dracula strain, which you haven't properly encountered other than killing Lucy.
Right.
There was the Varney strain, which was kind of sort of magical in essence.
Yeah.
Then there was Carmilla's strain, who kind of a benign, still bloodthirsty, but kind of benign vampire-ish Draculas. And there was something called the Danube strain. Now you have the DNA for the Danube strain.
So it would seem logical that the Danube strain might be what he's afraid of then, because we've encountered the others. So the Varney strain was kind of stopped, and as you say, the other ones. So it would seem the Danube strain would seem to be the logical thing that he might be worried about, right? So we probably need to do some investigation into that.
You did encounter one of the Danube strains, Faye the Forensic. You sunk his body, or the coffin.
That was the one that was into the lake, wasn't it?
Yeah, into the lake. And what's the name was strapped to the top? Bathory.
Yeah,
Bathory was strapped to the top. You sunk her into the lake in wherever you sunk her in the lake.
Was that back in Transylvania or somewhere? It was in Europe, wasn't it?
Yes, it was around there somewhere. It was Romania.
Romania. Yeah.
No,
we gave the blood samples to be tested, didn't we?
You did,
because we have contact. So I guess the first thing we could do is then follow up on that and see whether they've tested that sample to see whether there's any information they can give us about that. I would suggest, because again, if in the absence of anything else, we assume this is maybe what Dracula's trying to stop or is afraid of, or both.
Yeah. Okay.
Where did that blood sample go?
We had I seem to remember we had like a contact, didn't we? Like a forensic, because obviously, we do have some MI5, legitimacy a bit.
Yep.
So presumably it's just gone to a forensic analyst or whatever.
Yeah, so the same lab that's dealing with the bodies. So going back to the strain, it's not the Camilla strain, it's the Varney, the Jackal, Danube, and it's the Lilith.
Oh, Lilith. Okay, so Lilith sounds interesting because Lilith suggests it's ancient.
Yeah, Lilith was one.
Yeah. So I wonder whether that might be the one, because I would think the only thing that Dracula would fear would be something older than him.
Well, the Lilith strain Carmilla's one of the, as well as Daphne is one of the Lilith strains, mostly female vampires.
Right. Okay.
But Carmilla was fearful of Dracula, and she wanted you to get rid of the body of Favour Frenzy,
Right.
who was the Danube strain,
Okay.
because she didn't want to know where it was. So she let you go with the condition you get rid of it
And not tell her where we disposed of it. That's right. Okay, so I think the plan still holds. I think we have to talk to the forensic guy, or I mean, I presume we'll probably wait. So is this the same? If this is the same lab where we've taken the bodies,
same lab. It's the same lab. You can retrofit or recon this particular conversation with the woman.
Yeah, and we just say, well, look, by the way,
call
have you got any sort of update on those?
Dr. Quincy,
of course,
MD.
Dr.
Yes,
Dr. Quincy, medical woman.
Yes, medical woman. Yes,
medicine woman.
So,
that was it, wasn't it? Medicine woman. That was it.
Oh, which one are you thinking of? I'm thinking Quincy.
We're mixing the metaphors, well, because it's both. Because Quincy was the medical examiner, but then it was Dr. Quinn, medicine woman, who was that was Jane
Quinn.
Seymour in the Wild West, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah. I don't remember that one. I can remember Quincy. That was that and Petrocelli. Anyway,
Petrocelli.
Started off that steam. He had that steam train thingy.
Didn't he have a caravan? Didn't he live in like a trailer? Petrocelli.
Was that Petrocelli?
No, he was building a house. He was building his own house. That was it. He was living in a caravan, but he was building a house. Yeah, that was it.
Which never finished.
Never finished.
The opening sequence was that steam little steam engine, model steam engine that we all had.
Yeah.
That he was the only one that actually got to work.
And of course, the Rockford Files as well. Let's not forget those.
Yep. Classic. So yeah, Quincy. You've rung her up to go. We need to do these thingamajigs, and she says, "That's great. I think I've got the results. We'll retcon this. I've got the results of your medical your vials. If you want to pop over,
please. That would be great. We'll definitely pop over.
We'll merge some time here, and you find yourselves shutting the with the opening sequence. You're shutting the drawer of Standish into her Jane Doe box in the fridge, and going over to the big screen where she has the results. And she says, "You sent me 4 vials to review."
We did.
Let's just check my notes here. You mark them A, B, C, and D. So the first one, that's it's human. It's obviously you made the claim that you didn't know. Actually, you haven't told her that to expect anything other than human.
Right.
So first one she goes, this is Anglo-Saxon heritage, 10% Norman, 50% Anglo-Saxon, a bit of Celt, a bit of Roman. So it's purely English bloodline. Male in his late 80s, maybe 90s, quite old. So this one, so that's the Varney strain. So she picks up the next one, which is the Dracula strain, and she says, "So this one's as an oddity." And she says, "Watch this." She holds the vial and she taps it on the desktop, and the whole thing bubbles a little bit. And she's, "I've never seen that before. Must be a reaction. Must be a static reaction to it." So this particular one and strain 3 are quite similar. Eastern European, but this particular one, she points number 3, is quite odd. It's coming up with signature markers from Eastern Europe. But there's I think this is contaminated because it's got signature markers for a leech. I think that one's definitely contaminated. But this one
A
is
leech, so
Eastern.
that's okay.
And so this one is the number 2 Dracula strain. That's Eastern European, and it has some reaction to. I think this person might have had photorexia.
What?
Is that allergic to light?
That's allergic to light. Yes, allergic to light. A man again in his late probably 9900, very old person. This particular blood shop. So the 4th one, well, it's purely female DNA. There's no.
That's going to be the Lilith, then, isn't it?
There's no XY.
Whatever
There's no
chromosome.
there's no X chromosomes. It's all Y chromosomes. It's some kind of biological anomaly. And this is contaminated. This is from a female who has no male DNA in at all, and I can't tell how old the DNA is. So I think you've got 2. One from a normal human being, one from somebody who has some kind of photorexic allergy, and then 2 contaminated ones. One's been contaminated with some kind of, I suspect some insect or slug has got into or leech has got into the blood samples and ruined it. And the 3rd one is clearly incomplete DNA because it only contains the Y chromosome and not any of the X chromosomes.
I reckon the Leechy one sounds to me like it could be the Danube strain then, because we know the Lilith, the female one is presumably the Lilith.
Yeah.
The human one is presumably the I can't remember the name of it, but that's it, the Varney one.
Yep.
The one that's the photo allergenic one, I think, is the Dracula strain. So that would suggest that the Leechy one is probably the Danube, and that suggests there's something a bit creepier and nastier about them, which is funny when you're comparing vampires to vampires. But
yes.
So that would be my bet, but I don't know what that really tells us about. Qualities of a leech. So blood sucking. Fair enough. Tricky though. I don't really know what that tells us, but
it confirms. Varney was his vampirism was supernaturally magical in nature, and when his possession left him, what was left was just kind of a residue of the magical supernatural element, and that's not something that would come up in DNA.
Right.
He was just an old man. Dracula, his origins are both are Telluric. So in the Irish edition of Dracula, his origins are heavily implied to be from earthquakes. That's how he was created.
Interesting.
Wow.
And obviously the photosensitive element, the Danube strain, Father Frenzy, and whatnot. That's odd. Whether it is contaminated or not, don't know. And Lilith kind of that just goes, well, yeah, of course it is. That's so there's the 3 are confirmed exactly what you think they are, whereas the Danube one, there's oddity with it.
Okay. So we obviously don't have. I don't think we have the resources to do any more with that, do we? Really? Other than it tells us a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't really tell us why he would be afraid of it, I guess.
No. But you could do some tests on it to try and kill it.
I mean, that's a fair point.
Take it out to the sunlight, put a bit of silver in it, put a bit of garlic in it, and see what effect that has on the blood. To arm yourself. So, if you put it in sunlight, it starts to burn. If you put silver on it, it starts to burn. And if you put garlic on it, it starts to burn.
Okay, so those are all fairly traditional vampire reactions.
Yeah.
Salt?
Is that the Dracula strain?
No, that's the Danube strain. Sorry?
Try a little sample with some salt thrown on it.
Oh yeah, for the leech thing, that's a good shout.
So that kills the leech element of the DNA. So there is a degree of degradation to one element of that of the blood.
Interesting.
So one of the anomalies with this is that there are traces of Eastern European Romany gypsy trace elements in the human part or the non-contaminated part of this blood, but without getting a lump of this a amount of this blood that wasn't contaminated. I couldn't tell you exactly where in the Eastern Europe this particular the origins of this particular blood came from, because it's contaminated with leech stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay. Well, do we think? I mean, leeches obviously drink blood, so this may not really be contaminated as but actual part of the.
No, I'm starting to think that the fact it's got some kind of leech-like qualities is probably what Dracula is scared of.
Yeah.
You could really do with knowing if this...
Is it because I wonder whether he can't control it, maybe? Because obviously he has one of his... so the leech thing suggests like a non-human element, right? So he can obviously hypnotize and control. So is that what worries him, that he can't control these like he control the others, possibly? I guess what we could do could we, I mean, I suppose the obvious thing to do is also do a bit of research on if there's any mythology or lore to do with. So what I'd like to do is, can I make a connect? So am I right in thinking with connections you can kind of can initiate you can create a contact or a what's this? There's a skill. Is there an option for that? Network, right. Yeah. So I would like then, what I'd like to do is have Struan, because again, Struan's role in the Slow Horses is he's a research, he's like an analyst, right? So I would postulate it's probably reasonably, he's not a field operative generally, but he does have contacts within research and kind of, so like let's say the British Museum or the that kind of thing, because obviously with his role as an analyst he does a lot of that. So I'd like to make a role to say that he's going to reach out, he's going to spend some time, he's going to reach out to some contacts in the academic circles and try and find out more information about this particular strain of vampire in terms of mythology and, so is there any reference to this in folklore or history books? But I think that research would be probably beyond him, but I think he would think it's reasonable to assume he might have a contact or more than one contact who might be able to dig into that for him. It will take probably a bit of time.
Yeah.
But because we don't really have enough information about this other than what we've just learned from the science of it. But so can I do that? So can I use that as a and he's actually got he's got networking of like 15. Would you believe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is Louisa.
So I think I'm gonna. So if you tell me what I need to roll to make that happen, but then obviously I realise it will take. It will probably take time.
Simple. It's going to be a simple request.
Yeah.
But it's the length of time. So 3 is the basic, because you're basically saying, "Hi Dave, can you find all the information out about different types of vampire myths and stuff?" Essentially,
yeah.
And which is a very simple thing to ask, but the length of time it's going to take might be, because you're talking about myths from all over the place.
Quite right. Yeah. So I appreciate it's going to take time, but I think if we get that, get that moving, that might be worthwhile. A worthwhile use of time. So I'll do that.
So I think roll 3 or more. You can burn off however many points you want for that.
Okay, just give me a sec while I get myself organised. Well, I'm going to go. I mean, he's got 15, so I'm going to spend 3, so he can't fail it. If that makes sense. So let's do that.
Yep.
So D6 plus 3. So it's an 8. He scored a 5 anyway, but then he scores an 8 with the. So yeah, he spends a couple of hours making a few calls and sending a few emails, and and obviously keeps it relatively, academic. So because obviously one would assume that some of these people aren't going to think it's real, but he's just like he'll just, if anyone asks, he's doing some sort of research, he's doing some sort of, I don't know, history paper or something. I don't know, but he'll make something up. But cool. And the stated aim is to find out if this particular type of vampire has been mentioned in folklore, and if so, what can we find out about them?
Yeah. So you can find the your contact can be the British Museum's curator of ancient myths and legends.
Perfect.
Kind of thing.
Yep, sounds good to me.
You ring Professor Flintwick up, and he says, "Oh, I'm glad to hear from you again after this time, Struan. How's the wife and kids?" There's a degree of backwards and forwards over
of course,
conversation, because you've
and
used him before.
Struan is cautious to keep it casual as well.
Yeah. So how are you going to pitch it? I decided to leave MI5 and write a book about vampires. And
no, what I'll say to him is, no, I've got a better idea. I'll say to him, listen, I'm still, you know what I do for my job. He says, look, the fact is though, the pay's not great. So what I've decided to do is I'm actually going to write a novel. So I'm going to use some of my spare time, and I'm going to actually write a novel under a pseudonym, just in the hopes of pulling in a bit more cash. And because the sort of the YA, the young adult thing is a big, and obviously with Twilight and all that kind of thing, because I'm going to have a go at coming up with a vampire story, but I want to put a different twist on it. So I'm just looking for a bit of background on some vampires that aren't the usual sort of, bloodsuckers. So that's what his cover story is going to be. Is that
he's going, what, spies v vampires?
Yeah, I know. Who'd have thought?
What a ridiculous idea.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd buy that.
Yeah. He says, well, that's exactly what I thought. That's exactly what I thought.
Well, you could all start with the Penalagon. That's a crazy one.
The what?
The Penalagon. So it's an Asian myth and this woman, it's a floating head and vampiric head and spine. But then when the monster stops feeding, it goes back into the body. But because the body gets a bit stiff, to be soaked in vinegar to get the spine back into the body. There's a smell of vinegar. They used to kill anyone who had vinegar. So Penalagon, that's a crazy one.
He says, "Well, just send me. Yeah, send me. Let me know." Because again, I just out of character for a minute. We're using the term the Danube strain, but that's probably not likely to ring any bells. I wouldn't have thought. Do we think?
No.
So I'll maybe I'll say to him, here's a thought. He says, listen. He says, Struan says, I'm really getting into this whole story fiction thing. But what about is there any sort of historical precedent for like a type of vampire that was maybe more non-human than the rest? Because we know that obviously vampires, obviously they're not real, and of course, but they, most vampires, as I understand, like the legends, were originally human, and then were turned. But is there, maybe there's some sort? Is there a strain of vampire that's not quite so human that would make a good antagonist? Maybe.
Well, possibly.
There's no rush. Just if you find out what you can, I'll obviously you'll get a credit in my book when it gets published, of course.
Okie dokie. Let me see what I can do. I've got a couple of ideas that are a bit esoteric, but let me get back to you.
Yeah, cool. Anyways, and that's fine. And I'll report back to the others just to say what I've done, and we'll see if that bears any fruit later on.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Ignore the Penalagon. I could not crowbar that vampire in because that's a bit much. this disbodied, dismembered head floating around stinking of vinegar. I couldn't crowbar that one in, but that's the best I could do. A minor offhand mention. So that's done. He's gone away and he's going to investigate what he can and come back to you with several thousand PDFs of links and whatnot. Over the course of the next short period of time, you'll get emails from him with links to articles, books to read, and a whole host of vampire-related myths. So the first chunk are the standard stuff, which will be Legends of Dracula, Legend of Carmilla, Lilith, and whatnot, and that'll be like.
Yeah, exactly, and obviously Struan will plod his way through that as appropriate until we can find anything related to what we're looking for.
This Lilith, though, was supposedly the first partner of Adam, wasn't she? So that goes like way back.
Kabbalistic religion, yeah.
It's probably the earliest vampiric sort of form.
Certainly, as far as any kind of legendary or historical records would go, she would be the oldest, yeah.
Yeah. But I was also trying to figure out this snowmobile. So is he trying to get somewhere deep into northern Siberia or something like that?
Maybe.
And using this vehicle, I mean, and what could be, what could be up there? I think we lost Kevin.
Oh, did we?
From Discord. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure he'll drop back in a minute.
So,
don't say anything rude about him while he's not here.
Oh dear.
So
is back.
I stopped out then. At what point did I stop talking? Did you stop hearing me?
About an hour ago, I think.
Okay, so
We've been rather
anyway,
talking about
you were
ourselves.
just saying that Struan had been bombarded with lots of documents about the different strains, and Roger was just talking about the Lilith strain, I think.
Right. So in if I've got this right, in the vampire stat stuff, Lilith is the first vampire.
Yeah.
In the not the Gnostics, in the Gnostics. So Lilith doesn't really turn up in the Bible per se. I think there is one reference to her later on in the Old Testament, but in the New Testament, in the Gnostics, she is Adam's first wife. Refuses to comply, bend the knee or whatever. She chucks out of Eden, and then she is repitched as the mother of demons. At which point she becomes the first vampire per se.
Yes, that's exactly what I was just saying. Yeah. Or something along those lines. Yeah.
Yes. As with all those kind of retellings, whether it's an old Sumerian myth or whether it's a Canaanite or whatever, at some point, this particular person is reframed as an evil character,
which suggests that's the earliest, oldest vampire strain.
I think so.
No, not sure what that tells us, if that's useful to us in any way, but
yeah,
I wonder if that's possibly what could be. Yes, and possibly scary to Dracula even.
So, but obviously, to the Gnostics, what the information Gnostics have, what predates them is the Sumerian myths. So, the Sumerians have a deity called Dagon. Doesn't suck blood, but there are.
Dagon, which
Dagon.
Is it
Sumerian fish god?
There was that guy that came out looking half like a fish or something like that.
Yes, and that's where the Catholic Church get their pontiff's hat from. The Sumerians Dagon myth, I believe. Yeah, it's a fish head. Obviously.
Which presumably Lovecraft took some.
He just took the name
inspiration from.
Yeah, I think he misread some of the information, but certainly that's where Dagon's the name comes from.
Yeah, and he also came out. Well, Dagon came out the water as well.
Dagon and Hydra were essentially gigantic, big, deep ones, and they worshipped Cthulhu.
Yeah,
Father Dagon and Mother Hydra.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but anyway. in this, the Sumerian Dagon was that a vampire? I don't.
No, not
as far
as
such.
I know. But again, they're all. It's monsters are. So the Mesopotamian cultures had something called the Ikimu, Ekimu, and that was like ghosts, spectres, revenants, demons, all molded into one. The South Americans, the Chupacabra, but that's younger. Chupacabra, yes. The homunculus, that's 8th century. Obviously, the Penalagan. So there's lots of creatures that could be pointed to and gone, well, that's possibly vampiric. Nosferatu is plague carrier. It appears to be possibly an etymological extension of Nosforos, or plague carrier. But again, that could be not as old. So it's hard to know who the first vampire is. Most likely candidate is Lilith, but you'd have to speak to them to confirm what their feeling is on that matter. But again, more stuff will come through. Of all the vampires you can possibly think of, apart from the shiny naff ones from Twilight.
Okay, so I guess, do we need to plan a trip to the Urals? Or
That seems to be where everything's pointing, doesn't it?
Yep.
So there is a war. There is a war going on. So flying to Russia is not something that you can just do. So you would need to you need to work out how you're going to get to the Ural Mountains and what you're going to take there.
Oh, might we have any contacts in Russia?
No, I don't think any of you got contacts in Russia. Roddy could have organised it, but he is obviously dead.
Okay.
So as you're pontificating this, another bunch of emails come through, and it mentions the Hindu have got something called a Batu, and that's like a ghost-like bloodsucker. The Ghanans have a AIDS, ADZEH, the Dampier, which is an Albanian teeth drinker. Ghoul, that's another kind of vampire. The Lamia, which is the snake kind of vampire. Murines is a Romanian vampire. Strix, it's a Roman flying witch thing. And the Jinn, which are Arabic devils, but could be seen as possible vampires. So these are guys, he said there's an overload of information. He seems
that looks leech-like.
Well, no, but with an 8,
spending a bit of time though trawling through all of this. Does anything, at least on a surface level, seem to resemble the strain that we were looking for?
No, but you get a sense of where everyone's sitting. So the one that is an oddity at the moment, in addition to obviously the Danube strain, Varney strain, because there were so few of them, the magical supernatural element is interesting, implying that magic exists in some form, that this being was able, this wizard, sorcerer, was able to transfer his being into another body, and that became a vampire by default. So no, you're just getting an overload of vampires and things that could be seen as possible vampires. So if it wasn't for the fact that vampires exist, a lot of this information you'd be looking at going and thinking, well, a lot of this is stuff that Bram Stoker would have read and taken bits of to create his monster. Blood sucking, photorexia, turning at bats, wolves and stuff. but nothing specific at the moment.
Okay.
So you would need to book flights to somewhere that then flies into Russia. So if you Google the Ural Mountains, and work out exactly where you want to get, copy. That makes sense?
Do we have any specific locations?
I'm just getting that information. Oh no, idiot. Just going to double check exactly Google Maps. See if this particular place is a real place. Ooh, it's that one. Let's just go with that. Can't find that place. Can't spell that either. It's the Ural Mountains, run almost close to Kazakhstan, going all the way to the top.
Yeah.
To Siberia.
It's a lot further east than I thought.
Yeah. So you could fly to Finland, Estonia, Latvia, cross the border.
A hell of a trip, though.
It is. Finland, get a boat and sail across to the top.
You're better going to Kazakhstan, aren't you? Or
Kazakhstan's, is that, that's not, I suppose you can fly to Kazakhstan. You could fly to Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan, all the stans. You can fly back to Turkey. But yes, you can fly to Kazakhstan across the border.
yeah, that would seem. I mean, that certainly puts you closer. I'm not sure. What's the? Let's have a look. Where's in? So Kazakhstan. I mean, yeah. It's funny when you get to this part of the world in Google Maps. There's not really a lot of info, is there?
No. The particular place you're looking for is called Perchorsk. Pechorsk.
Oh, what, in Kazakhstan or in the Urals?
Let me just put that back in and get the exact location. Paste. There. Nope. Where's it gone? It's not there then. Pechorsk. Yeah. Paste. Nope, that's not it. There's be a couple of places in Russia called Pyorsk. Kiev, not there. Pyorsk. That's the same place. Do hope you didn't make it up. That would be annoying. Pechorsk. Oh, there we go. That's it. That's the particular place. So yes, the place is actually called Troitsko Pechorsk in the Ural Mountains. So that is Troitsko hyphen
Pechorsky district.
Pechorsk. Yes. Slap bang in the Ural Mountains.
Okay, yeah, I see.
There appears to be.
So actually, you're right. So that actually, it's not much. It's just the problem is it's right smack bang in the middle, isn't it?
Yes.
So yeah, you're almost better off. I don't really. I mean, I mean, I know from experience getting into Russia even before all that's kicking off at the moment was not easy because obviously my daughter went there for a school trip and
Yeah.
So it's good. I doubt if we're going to get in legitimately. So like you say, I think the best bet is probably to getting as close as you can, but it's still thousands of miles from anywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, so you could get to Finland and then get a boat from the top of Finland. Well, actually Norway, wouldn't it? Norway,
it would be.
Sweden, Denmark, over. That's quite a distance to go over to.
It is.
It's not like you can get to Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Belarus. It's miles away from it. It's in the middle of nowhere, really.
And depending on the time of year, you wouldn't really want to go that northern route.
No.
It was winter,
because
certainly.
it'd probably be icebound as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I still I don't know. I still think Kazakhstan maybe, but then it's still a fair old distance from there.
Oh, the Trans-Siberian Highway, railway, is is an option. Siberian.
So where does that start? That starts.
I'm just trying to get the. I don't know why I'm making a train sound. Between Moscow, the Russian Far East, and the Sea of Japan. So, map, images.
I would say.
Here we go.
I don't know. I'm thinking.
Even that's.
Well, actually, yeah, Finland, Estonia, Latvia is kind of. It's probably best bet.
Yeah, if you manage to get through Latvia to get to Moscow or to Yuroslav, get on this Trans-Siberian Highway, get off at somewhere like Curve or Perm, and then get a car up. That's the Trans-Siberian Railroad. Because that's still low, but that's going to get you closer before having to get higher, but get a car to drive further in.
We do have a significant problem here, though, because I don't think any of us actually speak Russian, do we?
No.
No.
Because I've just checked. I know Struan has got English, and that's it.
Yeah.
So we'd obviously have to have. We'd have to somehow. Here's another stretch. Then I guess what we'd have to try and do is we'd have to try and establish a contact in. Because the best option here, it seems to me, is can we utilize any of our connections to make contact with a native Russian asset, I guess, because it would make life a lot easier if we had somebody who could literally drive us in, so who could speak the language. Because again, the problem is that the three of us trying to let alone get into Russia, but get across Russia without being picked up by the authorities when we don't speak any bloody Russian is going to be, I'd say, is nigh impossible. So
we have a.
Can we talk to Jackson Lamb and get him? Surely Jackson Lamb must have some Russian contacts we could call on. Do you think?
Yes, Jackson Lamb will. He was in what's that place called? Germany. But yes, he would have Russian contacts. Now, the interesting thing, obviously, so before you turned up, Roger was talking about a friend of his was interested in joining. So we have a moment of potentially introducing a new character.
Yeah.
That can be this Russian-speaking chap for next session. Which, if Roger's friend does want to jump in. He doesn't need to know anything about what's happened in the past.
Oh,
it's almost a perfect moment.
Yeah.
To actually, I hadn't thought of that until you mentioned a Russian speaker. So yes, you could find
do you chaps agree with what I'm saying? Because my concern is, even though this is a it's an espionage story, but given that we're sort of dealing in the realms of reality, obviously along with vampires, but to me it seems that our chances of getting anywhere in Russia, because even if this is modern Russia in particular, even if this is a few years ago, you're not going to be able to do anything if you can't speak Russian, and if you don't speak Russian, you're going to be picked up by the whatever the current exactly. So I think we definitely need to have a native Russian asset, and it seems to me that Jackson Lamb is probably, out of all of us, is the only one who's going to have that kind of those sort of contacts. I mean, I'm happy to spend points on networking and all that, but I don't see that Struan would have made those contacts.
No,
certainly not someone who'd be willing to smuggle us into Russia and drive us to the Ural Mountains. I think it's got to be somebody. So I like your idea. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
So yes, so two things. Yes, we're going to speak to Jackson Lamb, but yes, Roger, if your friend does want to join, he's a Russian chap. So for next session, if he's interested, then yes, whoever we come up with as this Russian person, then that's his character. So what we'll probably take is Marcus's character and just reskin it with a Russian name. So rather than recreate,
I can do that if you want.
Yeah.
But maybe if Roger has a chat with his friend, and sells that. I mean, if he's not into that idea, we can accommodate another thing. But that would be a good. And I'm happy for him. Happy for him to come up with any anything you want to add to that. But I think at least as an initial point, that would be a really good jumping on point, because, like you say, we could. I think if we don't have that asset, I think we're stuffed. We're not going to get into Russia at all.
So either way, you're going to have that asset, and he can jump in and play Cartwright or Shirley or whatever. But for somebody coming in brand new, that would be a perfect character, because they have no knowledge of what's happened other than what you've told them.
Yeah. What I'll do is I'll knock up a Russian character just as so we can either, as I say, we can either give him to Roger's friend, or we can use him as an MP, as a contact. But I'll come up with a character before the next session, and I'll make it available to you so Roger can pass it on as well if he wants to.
Cool. So that out of the window. So yes, you're speaking to Jackson, and Jackson says, "Oh yes, I can make some phone calls and get back to you. Give me 24 hours." He says politely, and he's off making phone calls. In the interim, you get another piece of information back from your friend. It's now it's almost like spam at the moment. But a thing that jumps out is Ferenc Father Ferenzi is the title.
Say that again.
Father Ferenzi.
Okay.
So this jumps out because this was the body in amber that Camilla got you to dump in the lake.
Yeah.
And it's an odd story in as much as it kind of parallels some of the Bram Stoker's myth of Dracula, but there's a degree of more grounded realism in it, and it doesn't last. It's a very brief event. So essentially, this Father Frenzy says he came out of the Danube River with a thirst for blood, and stayed in Castle Frenzy over a short period of time, and would every now and then go away, and his son would come back, or his grandson would come back looking like him. So over the course of maybe 100 years, he did this a couple of times, as the myth goes, But eventually he was slain and trapped in a coffin in amber to prevent his leech escaping. Is the way it's put.
Okay, so that sounds exactly what we're talking about, doesn't it?
Yeah, and whilst that is that's a myth in terms of it's a folklore tale, it's a very specific one that is you've never heard before. It's some of the ones once you hear them, you go, oh yes, I've heard of the Penalagan. I vaguely recall that, but this, no, nothing rings a bell at this at all. But not only that, you had the coffin with a body in amber in it.
Yeah.
But the locals stormed the castle and trapped him in this amber coffin. And there's like a footnote in which some of his underlings would try and keep him alive by they drilled a hole into the amber and were dripping blood into the hole to feed him, to keep him alive.
Oh.
And that's, and the myth kind of, and then it kind of evaporates. After a couple of 100 years, it's not heard of again. It's almost like it's a specific event, but there was no, like some myths trail on and get embellished and get added on. This one it's the one story plus one footnote, and there's no other references to it.
So does that suggest maybe that this was something that was being hidden as well? Because if legends, if stories aren't being told to perpetuate it, then that would suggest that was being intentionally, suppressed, and there was.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Okay.
Wow.
That's. You said so. Sorry, you said it was frenzy.
Yeah. Where's it gone? FERENCZY.
Frenzy.
Father Frenzy.
Got it. Father Frenzy. Okay. So I think our overall plan. So that suggests then that you said he was being drip fed. So that suggests that he's still alive, or well, he's not really alive, but
Existing.
And as far as we know, he's what was in the coffin that was disposed of.
Yep.
Which, as far as we know, is still in the lake we dumped it into.
Yeah, and you are the only people that know where that is.
Yeah.
So you could go there and wake him up and speak to him.
I mean, I suspect that would be like a terrible idea.
Yeah. That would actually be a stupid idea.
That would really be a really bad idea.
We just thought what could possibly go wrong? Oh, waking up on a vampire. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially a vampire that we dumped in a lake in the first place. Yeah. Not good. Not a good way to go, I don't think.
No, he's got some woman strapped to him as well. Bethany was chained him, I believe. Yeah.
That she was.
Oh.
Oh, this doesn't get
okay. So what do we think we need to do now? So we need to wait for Jackson Lamb to get us arrange his passage into Russia. As far as
supplies.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's only so much of that we can do. I guess it depends how we get into Russia. So, but we know that we certainly want to stock up on the the equipment that we had before. So things like silver bullets and garlic and the whole 9 yards of anti-vampire equipment, right? Because we know that there's from the tests that we've seen, certainly some, if not all, of the traditional methods will work. So we definitely want to have, like I say, silver bullets.
Yep.
We definitely want to have probably holy water, all that stuff. It sounds really cliche, but it seems as if it will actually actually work to some extent.
And some salt shot.
Yes, exactly. That's what we had before, wasn't it?
Yep.
Salt and
so you can build up over the course of the next few days. It's not going to be too hard to gather some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Googling how to open shotgun shells and replace the shot with salt.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
and we'll just spend some time gathering resources and
Yep. Some of the things, depending on how you're going to get to that point where your contact will pick you up, so you can get the contact to already have some shotguns and some shotgun press material. So you can get a device that looks like a fruit press, and essentially that recaps the shotgun shells. So he can then produce one of these things, put it on a Black & Decker, and you can make your own shotguns when you get there.
Yeah.
So you can get your hands on lots of silver, pop down the local silver merchants, and then melt that when you get there. Therefore, that's avoiding customs. If the guy is good enough, he can produce lots of weapons when you get there, but it's having an understanding of what you need.
I think ultimately we're at the mercy of Jackson Lamb at the moment. We have to wait and see.
Yeah.
As you say, because again, if we're going to have to sneak in, carry nothing but a rucksack or whatever, we're not going to be able to carry a brace, carry shotguns and all of that. But again, if the guy who puts us in touch with has got, can get that equipment for us, or if not, we just have to take what we can carry, which will probably be handguns, ammunition, presumably fake documents of some sort will probably be a good idea. But again, I don't know if it's even worth it, because if we get caught, we're not going to be able to talk our way out of it because we can't speak Russian. So
no.
It's a bit pointless having a Russian, Russian papers when you're clearly not Russian. So maybe that's not even worth the effort. I think our best effort is to try and remain undetected rather than to try and bluff it, because we can't bluff it because we don't speak the language. So
no. So Jackson comes up with a loose plan. He says, so I have a contact, name to be determined. He says, what you can do is fly to Mongolia, and then when you're in Mongolia, get a car, get to the western tip of Mongolia, and cross the land bridge between that is in effect between China, Russia, and Kazakhstan, and there get into Kazakhstan, crossing the Altai Republic, make your way to Astana. At Astana, you'll meet the contact, name to be confirmed.
what about if this guy's a pilot? What about if we make this guy? What about if we make this guy, the contact, a transport pilot of some sort? So he's got a plane.
Yep.
Would that be useful? Because again, that would save us a lot of aggro in terms of, if you're on the road for a lot of time, you're more likely to be spotted. But if he's got again, I don't know much about logistics in Russia, but bearing in mind it's such a big place, I'd be willing to bet there's probably a bit of smuggling and a bit of,
In that case,
stuff being moved about by sort of small planes and.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, if he's a pilot, then he can fly us to where we need to go.
So in that case, if let's put him in the enclave of what's that called? Kaliningrad.
Yeah.
So you make your way to Gdansk. You get a slow boat from Gdansk. Oh, you've done this before. This is Twilight 2000 again. You get to Gdansk, get a speedboat across the border to Kaliningrad, and this time don't get the Pope to fly you out. So in Kaliningrad is where the your contact will be, and he has a small aircraft.
Yeah, like a transport plane, like a DC-3 or something. Some.
Yeah, and he can arrange for papers to fly parts from Kaliningrad to somewhere close to where you're going.
Yeah.
Also parts from Kaliningrad to not to purchase straight away, but somewhere close.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'll knock up a character who's a pilot, and that'll give us something to work with. You know what I mean? Maybe not a DC-3, but like like an old beaten up plane, and he probably flies, as you say. Yeah, transports auto parts or something. But again, bearing in mind Russia is so vast, it makes sense to me, and it would make it easy for us to get there because again, you're not going to get pulled over by the police.
No, and he'll have motorbikes. So he'll have 4, 5. How many is there? 4 motorbikes in the back of the aircraft, along with the equipment that you've asked for.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to take him. Let's say it's going to take him a week to gather that stuff together.
Yeah, perfect. Or let's say 3 weeks.
3 weeks. 3 weeks to get that stuff together. That does obviously give Dracula the heads up, and he can get there quicker than you. But I don't see
that we can realistically get there any quicker.
Yeah, you go
not be prepared.
No, and it's going to be a trap going there because it's obvious it's a trap.
Yeah,
but you're going in prepared and armed up with machine guns and whatnot, so he can arrange that level of equipment. So Jackson says, whilst you're doing that, he is going to make his way to Romania, and he is going to go to Dracula's castle to see if he's home.
Yeah.
Or the last known place for Dracula, which is quite funny because Gary Oldman played Dracula in Dracula, didn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't he just? That would be a twist. And Jackson Lang pulls him up and go, I'd have got away with it, you pesky spies. So is there anything else you need to do or investigate? Yes.
I don't think so, but we've got plenty of that information that the guy sent us as well, haven't we? That I can.
Yes. But one thing you can do is Google Perchos and the Ural Mountains and essentially oddities, incidents, things, weird stuff. So you need to make a infiltration roll, and you're essentially you're in the dark web looking at oddities.
Okay, hold on a minute. Infiltration roll, did you say?
Yeah.
So
digital intrusion.
Oh, digital intrusion. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Digital intrusion.
Well, I'm going to put. I'll go first. I'm going to put 2 into that. I've got 6 in digital intrusion, but I'll put 2 into it.
Nice going.
Oh, bloody hell, 3. Oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, that was because that was my last one, wasn't it? Yeah. So I only got a 3.
Cool. So you are 1 level down on the internet, and you find a report from an AWACS aircraft in 1984. And it details a thing that appeared near Perchosk, was chased by 2 Russian jets. It left Russian airspace, crossed over the Arctic Circle, and eventually into US airspace, where it was destroyed by 2 American jet fighters. And the encounter was filmed by an American AWACS aircraft in 1984. And there is a what would it be? It would be a MP4, no, an MOV file.
Yep.
Apple QuickTime file. So you fire it up, and it's like 340 by 640 pixels. So it's not, it's not great footage. It's been digitized, and this black, long, weird, it's like a bat that kind of pulsates, and it was a big creature with chitinous claws and teeth around its gaping maw, that was shot down over the Arctic Circle.
Uh-huh. That's...
And on that is, it says origin, Perchorsk project.
Oh.
Now, I think that's to me that's a link that points to the Lilith sort of strain that, and there's some, and that's hiding somewhere in those mountains.
That makes sense to
And
me.
I think that's what Dracula fears.
So you can have one more digital intrusion because you have another piece of information. The name, the Perchorsk project.
I'll give it a go. I'm adding 2. It's on the roll anyway.
6.
Okay.
Cool. The Perchorsk project is listed, only a very small piece of information about it. It was a development by the USSR to be its answer to the USA's Strategic Defense Initiative.
Star Wars?
It's believed the initial testing failed to result in a usable weapon. However, facility remains open and guarded to this day.
Oh, I bet they're keeping something hidden there that they don't want people to find out about them.
Okay. Well, that gives us some...
throwing a lot of stuff our way, isn't it?
Yeah.
That gives us some direction, or at least... how to find this this project place, and
You do find a document in Russian that is part of a series of documents that were captured by a MI5 operative in the 90s. His name's been redacted, but it has once translated, the document is a vector format, so you simply copy and paste the text out of it to convert into Russian. It has Incident 2, Wolf, caught and studied for 9 months before dying of natural causes. Incident 3, so Incident 1 is Bat Thing escapes, destroyed over Arctic Circle by enemy fighters. Incident 3, amorphous blob, captured, studied, burnt by fire. Incident 4, common Desmodus bat, shot immediately upon exiting, redacted. Incident 5, a redacted, killed multiple Russian soldiers before being destroyed by fire.
So was there one of those that escaped? The first one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of refreshing to know that somebody else has been having trouble with these buggers.
The Russians. So I think
That's
armed with that information.
Yeah, definitely a place of interest, isn't it?
Yeah.
And just to be clear, we're definitely not going to get the guy in amber out of the lake, just to be absolutely 100% clear.
Just or activate all the vampires in Saudi Arabia. That was your other thing you could have done. You activate them just as the sun comes up. I had an army of 4 million. I burnt them all to death. I didn't read the instructions. So with that in mind, that's kind of the last piece of information your vampire buddy gives you. He gives you beyond that. There's stuff about Dracula, Varney, and Lilith, and all the standard vampire stuff. But that's the bit that jumps out, which led you to the Perchorsk incident. And there is that one single document relating to the Perchorsk project.
Okay.
You can get satellite photography of the area, and there's a village, there's an airstrip, a bit of a military base, a road going up into the mountains that just kind of stops and effectively goes in the mountains. Opposite or very close by is a large reservoir. It's
Large
above
reservoir.
the large reservoir. So this thing is probably the entrance to the power station for the reservoir.
Yeah, so hydroelectric. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So I think you're at a good point to start to make your journey to Kaliningrad. So your options really are fly to Poland or fly to Gdansk and then get the boat to Kaliningrad.
I guess we'll just do a bit of an Indiana Jones, right, with a
Yep.
dotted line across the map.
Yep. So you'll land in Poland. At which point, at the airport, Jackson Lamb bids you adieu and I think Jackson Land is going to take with him. So he will take either Cartwright or Shirley. He wouldn't go alone, really.
He'll
So
probably
you can
take
decide.
Cartwright, wouldn't
Yep. We send Cartwright, and Michael go, "Oh yeah, I'm coming back next session. If that's all right." Okay, so he will take Cartwright and Jackson Lamb will fly from Poland to Romania with their intent to get to the Transylvania area and go to Dracula's castle.
Right.
To confirm, assuming that all the myths about Castle Dracula are correct.
Right.
And then you will get to Gdansk and take a boat to Gdansk in the dead of night, arranging to meet the contact on the beach in Kaliningrad. So next session you will arrive in Kaliningrad. Oh, Kaliningrad's moved. Hang on. Kaliningrad, Gdansk. So you'll get almost Roger. This is almost identical route to the one you took. Going across that.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost
the lagoon.
yeah, into the lagoon, and you'll meet your operative just across the border in the dead of night. There'll be a moment when you're in a boat and there'll be a flashing torch and you're doing, Morse code.
Yeah.
And that's probably a good place to leave it. So for next session, you'll be flying into the Ural Mountains with a new person in tow.